What do you think of Nick?
He's a swell guy. Oh, God.
Nick is a man and also the man.
Nick is the greatest guy ever. We couldn't do this without him.
I grew up in Monterey. It's a pretty small town in Central California. There wasn't much of a music scene there. I didn't pick up the guitar until I was about 16 years old. I started recording some covers with some friends that I had in high school and just fell in love with the whole recording process of music.
I met Nick working out at a golf course back home in Monterey, and we didn't really know each other that well for like the first couple months or so, but then we started, I found out he played guitar and I played drums, and so we started doing covers of Foo Fighters songs, Chili Peppers songs, Beatles songs, things like that. Largely, we've worked on Hot Chocolate Party, which is a musical sketch comedy group out of Los Angeles. It was me and a few friends from college, and then we had Nick join in and do all the audio work. And since then, we've done music videos, we've done song parodies, sketch comedy, and in addition to acting and directing, Nick's also been scoring and working on all of the audio production for our group. I think Nick's defining characteristic is passion. I've never met somebody who's so dedicated to the work that he's doing, whether it is a major label artist or if it's something that we're doing out here on the couch working on new music for our sketch comedy group. He gives everything 110% and wants to make everything the best thing that he's ever worked on. On our second record, there was a song that we made that was making fun of Tinder, and it was supposed to be kind of this R&B, very sexy type of track, and in the middle of it, there was a guitar solo that we had Nick do. And most people, you know, especially working on a project here in the apartment in your bedroom, you can do sections at a time, you can loop things, you don't necessarily have to do it all in one go. But Nick, being the perfectionist that he is, wanted to get this entire, about minute-long take in one go. He wanted to get it perfect. So we started at about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, and we finished at about 2 a.m. And on take 78, Nick finally nailed the perfect single take for that song. And every time you listen to it, there's just so much pride, and you're just so happy that Nick took the time to do 78 different takes to make sure we get the perfect one.
It's like a modern day Cinderella, but with less magic rats and more casual sex. Yo, clean it up, Nick!
My first job in LA was working at a studio called Grandmaster Recorders. I started as an intern sweeping floors and cleaning in the control room as I was learning the gear and waiting for my chance to move up. During my time there, after about 4 months, I was able to assist on my first session and then several other big sessions for the rest of that year. I consider myself really lucky to have found a job at a recording studio so shortly after my time at the Musicians Institute. But I also was very driven, and I got out there and knocked on the doors of the biggest studios in Hollywood, basically putting a face to my resume until someone finally gave me a job. During my time at Grandmaster, I've gotten a chance to work with some amazing artists such as the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Cody Simpson, and the Dirty Heads, just to name a few. During those sessions, I was working as an assistant engineer to the producer engineer that they brought in for each session. An engineer I used to work with at Grandmaster went on to tour manage the Plain White T's, and they were about to do a tour in 2015, and they needed a last-minute guitar tech to fill in on a couple shows. So he asked me if I would be interested in doing it, and I immediately said yes. And next thing I knew, I was in Chicago for rehearsals, and I've been with them ever since. In 2015, we did 2 full US tours on a tour bus, and since then, we've been doing a lot of travel shows where we fly out several times a month. My biggest challenge at the moment is how the recording industry has gone very digital, to where a lot of people don't really have the budget to be able to record in a big time studio, and so they want to record at home. And I've had to embrace that in my workflow and basically be more available to be on call, on location, to go to people's houses or to work when I'm traveling in hotel rooms. My goal is to be a freelance recording engineer / producer that gets hired by many different artists in different genres to work in studios all across the world. And I'm gaining the skills that I need to get there right now. Where I'm at now has already far surpassed my goals when moving to LA, so I can't wait to see how I continue to strive in my career of being a record producer. My biggest advice to anybody that's inspiring to be a musician or an artist of any kind is to surround yourself with others that are creative, because it's going to keep you inspired and keep things feeling fresh for you to keep moving forward towards your passion.